Good morning or afternoon. I guess it's almost noon. It is the Bitter Knitters podcast, TV Attack Edition. It is Sunday, October 29th, 2 days until Halloween. My name is Jacqueline, and I'm joined with, is it by? Joined with?
Joined by, I think either worked. Joined by sounds a little better, right?
Justin's here with me today also.
Yeah, joined by, with, yeah, whatever.
No.
Happy Halloween. It's pretty much Halloween now, isn't it?
Any questions?
Yeah. Oh, did you watch that?
Of course.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So I just finished it. I'm like, what did I watch? So we got some news today that we're going to talk about a lot of Halloween-related TV shows or like horror genre shows that have just come back. And so we'll have a lot of fun Halloween-y stuff. But first, I'm in mourning. The saddest news broke this week, and I still don't think I have fully recovered from this.
There was no Rizul?
No Rizul. Zoo has been canceled after 3 seasons by CBS. Moment of silence.
Sad.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all the moment it really deserves.
So our favorite show to kind of crap upon, Zoo, did not get renewed by CBS. So it was canceled after three years, and now we'll never know what happens, and that makes me kind of sad.
I'm just going to assume everybody dies. They don't get the cure for the fertility issue, and the zombie hybrids kill everybody.
But just think about Abendigos. Where's Abendigos?
He's probably king of the planet.
Oh, who's his queen? Abigail?
Clementine.
Oh. I don't know. They look so similar. No.
It's kind of sad. I mean, it's sad. Yes, it was a horrible show with horrible effects and no real sanity in its plot, but there was something wonderful and pure about it.
It was just so ridiculous, and it was so like shameless in how ridiculous that it is. That it was just kind of a joy to watch.
Completely embraced how far from reality it really could be.
And it's I just hope we get another job for
I'm Bendigos, your brother.
Well, we knew that renewal chances weren't very likely. And I think I said a few weeks ago that I would expect either one of Salvation or Zoo to be renewed and the other to be canceled. And I was kind of leaning towards Zoo being the canceled one, because now that it's been on for 3 years, shows get more expensive to make as they go on. And again, since I think the last time we did a show, the CBS did renew Salvation. So Salvation is coming back for a second season.
Yay.
But
I'm happy about that.
Is ending after 3. Maybe we can get some crossover.
Yeah, but we need like season 45 of Criminal Minds and NCIS. And
I can't believe Blue Bloods is still on. Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I've never met one person who watches Blue Bloods.
No, me neither. I didn't even think the creator of Blue Bloods watches Blue Bloods.
Like, not even like Tom Selleck's mom, if she's still alive, would watch Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I don't think many Wahlbergs watch it either. I mean, come on. Yeah. Blue and Hawaii Five-O is still on. Mm-hmm. And like, at least there's no CSI show currently, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But there's like 800 NCIS. JAG is still probably on the air. I don't know. But it's just crazy. But you know, the good thing is that every year CBS introduces 1 or 2 completely ridiculous new summer shows. So with Zoo cancel, that leaves the room open for another ridiculous summer show.
We should write something. We could come up with something completely ridiculous.
And something that would totally completely fit with Zoo and Under the Dome and Brain Dead. Actually, Brain Dead was a lot smarter than some of these others.
We need to bring in every cliche show and make it into one show. Like a sci-fi, romantic, horror, drama, comedy.
Who's your lead going to be? Dr. Abraham Kenyatta?
Well, he's free. I was also going to say Henry Morgan.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to say his real name, but yes.
Steve Jones. Ian Gruffle?
Ian Gruffle, yeah.
Steve Jones.
Steve Jones. Oh, my God.
Or any of the people that are on Inhumans, I'm sure they'll need a job in a couple weeks.
They will all need a job in a couple weeks for Inhumans. Did you see that this week? One of the heads of IMAX came out and said, "Yeah, this was a mistake to do this. People come to IMAX expecting like high quality, and they got a TV pilot."
Whoa, I did not hear that.
And I think,
wow.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem was the IMAX thing, because not necessarily the high quality part, but since they were doing IMAX a whole month before it premiered on TV, that gave it a whole month between IMAX and the TV premiere for bad publicity. And so by the time it premiered on TV, only 2 people watched.
You and I?
Yes. That there's just that much.
Still watching.
Bad publicity. I haven't watched this week's yet. I did read spoilers. Sounds like it'll be pretty interesting. I am definitely going to watch it though, because we only have 2 episodes left after this.
Yeah, I mean, may as well go all the way.
Yeah, see the complete series. Well, we'll go back to CBS. We got a couple renewals to talk about. And CBS renewed their all-access series, Star Wars Discovery, for season 2.
Yay!
Because you're watching that, right? I've heard good things about it.
It's really good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been a big Star Trek fan, but I've heard good things about the series.
I'm a Star Trek fan. I've watched all the series except for Enterprise. It's fantastic. It's really good.
So what they're doing is, I guess, they're doing what a lot of cable networks have done, where they divide the series into 2, or seasons into 2. So season 1, the first half is going to end in a couple weeks, and then they'll bring it back in early 2018, I think in January.
Fuck off. I hate that.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think November 12th.
By the time it comes back, I've forgotten everything.
Yeah, I think November 12th is the last episode of the first half. And then January is not that long. But long
but it still annoys me.
And then there'll be a season 2 that they're going to produce after those, obviously. So
it's good, and it's not cheap looking. I mean, they're spending the money on it for an internet show. That's pretty good.
Which makes me curious if that's what they decided to do with it. It is easily could have been on normal CBS. And obviously, I guess they're just wanting to get subscribers. So I'm curious to see how many people have subscribed for this show specifically.
Not me.
Well, they were doing a deal, so right now I've got like a 3-month subscription for fairly cheap. I don't watch. I mainly just watch HD Survivor on it. Pretty much what I do. And another renewal, which makes me happy, is Netflix renewed American Vandal for season 2.
Yay!
Which is probably one of my favorite shows of the year so far. Now, how is season 2 going to be? I don't know. This is one of those that definitely looks like it should be a one and done. But
is it the same? It's the same cast and same story, or are they gonna?
I think what they released a small teaser, and the narration is done by Peter from season 1. That was his name, right? The main kid, Peter.
I believe so.
And so Peter and Sam. It sounds like it's gonna follow Peter and Sam, but my guess is that people, since they're in the show world, their documentary went viral. So my guess is what's going to happen is another school is something's going to happen at that school. So they're going to contact Peter and Sam and kind of commission them to do a documentary for that school. In the teaser, you can see yearbook photos of kids that are wearing like school uniforms, almost like they're at like a fancy college prep school or private school.
Oh, private school or something,
It does look like we're going to be dealing with a different school, but I think Peter and Sam are back making the documentary, which is going to, what I kind of liked about season 1 is they were both students at that school they were filming. So they kind of got deeply, especially Peter, got deeply involved in the subjects and with with what was going on. And they would be more outsiders at another school. But you can't.
Well, and you have to wonder how much will people be honest to outsiders? Not that people would be honest to real, people they know as well. Yeah, it should be interesting.
But that's true. That could bring another kind of wrench into the system, is that they won't trust these 2 people coming from the outside. But don't they have school to attend? Come on, Peter and Sam. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Netflix also renewed Big Mouth for a season 2, which is a show I watched the first episode of and thought it was, I don't know, maybe not.
I don't think I watched it.
That's that puberty one with the talking vagina. I think you've seen it in
Oh,
the
my husband has watched that several
Yes.
times, the same episodes till he falls asleep. So I have seen a few episodes, like few spots here and there, I should say.
Yeah.
Like when the vagina's talking, I was like, what the hell is going on?
I haven't seen the vagina yet. I saw the episode. I saw there was this like puberty monster or puberty fairy. I don't know what it was. It was.
And then I saw the pillow the boy has sex with all the time.
Yeah,
Just, like,
and
no.
there was like cartoon dicks and cartoon balls and just it was just.
Did they have 3 hairs?
I don't know. No, a lot more. Because in the first episode, the main story revolves around 2 friends that are early teens, and there's one sleeping over at the other's house, and one's getting out of the shower. Even though if I'm at my friend's house, I never showered at a friend's house. And then
no. Well, some people. It depends on the person.
the kid accidentally looks, and I guess the towel drops, and he sees that his friend's penis is much larger and balls much hairier than his are, so he's feeling yeah. It was
never in my life have I dropped the towel.
I don't know if that was necessarily what happened. That's something like they bumped into each other and towel drop, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it wasn't necessarily my favorite show. So Sci-Fi is making a reboot of Tremors, a TV show.
I had heard that.
And
if Reba's not on it, then and really, I mean, Kevin Bacon and what was his name, Reno Wilson, they were the magic in that.
Yeah,
those 3.
Yeah, but it looks like they cast Hunter Parrish from Weeds in the pilot.
Oh, he's sexy.
And that guy that's in every other TV show. He was in The Killing and The Killing and not Hunter's Creek. What was it? It's the black guy with the dreads. He was the teacher in The Killing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was on that island show.
Harper's Island.
That's it, yeah.
I was calling it Hunter's Creek. I'm like, that's not it.
Oh, he's been in a ton of things, too.
He's in a lot of things. I think he's like trying to take Mark Pellegrino's job.
Oh my God, the Canadian black Mark Pellegrino.
I think he cut his hair. He was in season 1 of Slasher.
Yeah, his braids / dreads, whatever they were gone in that.
Yeah. I did not recognize him for the longest time. And we'll talk about season 2 of Slasher in just a little bit. You watched The Crown, right?
I do.
And I guess the plan had always been, as the seasons go on, that they would kind of replace the cast as the characters age her older.
As she gets old, yeah.
So Claire Foy has played Queen Elizabeth in season 1 and the upcoming season 2, which I think is premiering in just a few weeks on December 8th. And they announced that for seasons 3 and 4, Queen Elizabeth will be played by Olivia Colman.
Who was from Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, exactly.
She doesn't look like the Queen. And she also doesn't look like somebody Claire Foy turned into.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is almost like a me, myself, and I situation. Like that Claire Foy, Olivia Colman, and the real Queen. Like, it's like she's the John Larroquette of the situation.
You're not available?
Well, maybe that's for seasons like 9 and 10 of the
I guess.
She would be, I think, too old to play season 3 and 4.
I guess. I mean, look, Olivia Colman's that's her name, Olivia Colman?
Yes.
Yeah, she's an amazing actor. I'm sure she'll do a great job. There's no part of me that believes that the beautiful Claire Foy turns into her.
She turns into the Queen. She was also one of the rumored Doctor Who.
The Doctors, yeah.
Yeah, her name kept coming up for the next Doctor Who.
Chose the wrong lady.
She's gonna play the Queen instead, which I think is kind of weird casting. Are you still?
See, I'll be watching.
Oh, go ahead.
Me.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
With Last Man on Earth? It's kind of interesting how Will Forte keeps bringing in more and more SNL people, and it looks like Fred Armisen is going to join them for an arc.
Fred Armisen is? When is 80 coming?
I know. They've been more people around the same time as Forte. They haven't been a lot of
new people, no.
Like current cast members. And I feel like everyone who's shown up, Kristen Wiig, Fred Armisen, Jason Sudeikis, Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig, have all been kind of cast members with him at one point or another. with Will Forte.
Yeah.
But Fred Armisen, he kind of gives me creep vibes sometimes, but he's kind of funny.
You know what? Of course, I saw him on Finding Your Roots, and he was a much different person than I expected. And he's very funny on Seth Meyers. So
yes, I do like when he's on Seth Meyers.
Yeah. We'll see. I think it'll be good. Of course, I have someone trying to talk to me while I'm on a podcast.
Oh, of course. Isn't that how it always happens? They know they should be listening.
That's what I'm saying.
So a few weeks ago, we talked about a show called 10 Days in the Valley. And we thought it was like the worst new show we've seen so far in a long time. And they announced this week that they're pulling it off of Sunday nights. And it's going to be pulled off for several weeks. And then December 16th, right before Christmas, they're going to put it on Saturday nights. And
that's a double dead zone. Because Saturday is already a dead night. And then to put it at Christmas.
In December. And then they're going to let it pretty much burn it off until January. And that's the ratings were worse than Quantico's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. By like almost 1 million. Yeah, quite a bit. Nobody was watching this show.
It's horrible. Actually, I know somebody who was.
Oh.
Somebody who told me they thought it was good. I won't name any names.
Oh.
And I was like, no, that show is horrible.
No, bad taste in TV shows. Like, I tried. I gave it an episode, and they're going to replace it with Shark Tank. I feel like Shark Tank is like the show that will never die. That's been on for a long time now.
Yeah.
And also a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Designated Survivor, and mainly about shows that we gave up on and we quit. Another show that I think we both quit in the last year or so is The Walking Dead.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of funny that the last season premiered last week, and the ratings year to year were down by between 33 and 40%.
Wow.
I mean, it's still huge numbers.
Yeah,
it's still big numbers, but that's a big drop.
You lost a third of your audience.
Yes.
You know what? I think this is part of the issue with this show is that, we already talked about the problem with it, the fact that it got way manipulative there, and we just couldn't deal with that. But, I mean, AMC runs a marathon of The Walking Dead like every month. It's always on. It's like too much.
Well, it's almost like the Millionaire Syndrome. When ABC back in like 2000 found something that worked for them, they ran it into the ground. It's like you can only run something into the ground so much until people are sick of it. But again, a lot of this, the network, the producers, it's to blame because, like I said, they were jerking the audience around. It got to a point where I couldn't deal with it anymore.
No. Yeah. I mean, you and I both decided at the same time. It was funny because we both, were talking and almost simultaneously, like, I'm never watching that again.
Yeah. I don't miss it. I haven't watched.
No, I don't. And like I said, my husband and daughter watch that every Sunday night when it's on. They watch Fear the Walking Dead, and I mean, I might take off my headphones and go in the kitchen, get a glass of water, and I kind of look up and see sort of what's going on. But yeah, I don't miss it at all.
Yeah. It's I feel
it's a big episode because the last episode that just premiered, that was the downfall of Negan.
Yes.
You would think people would have been invested into watching that, and
And they can. Well, it's funny. It's in between the seasons, and right before this season premiered, there were so many articles out there being like, "Oh, if you didn't like last season, you'll love this one. This one is so much better," and so trying to get people to come back. And so it's kind of funny that the ratings were still high
millions
for
and
most
millions
shows, but compared to its previous highs, like we don't see Game of Thrones doing that kind of drop.
No. And I mean, I think anytime a show loses a third of their audience, they're still panicking. Even if you still have 20 million people watching, you're still going to be worried about, that drop.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the end.
It's
the beginning of the end.
It is. It's one of those things that you can see. This is the moment where I can see that this is going to start going downhill.
And that's where they jumped the shark, when they freaking pretended to kill Glenn and then killed him 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Or 2 episodes later.
And I think what really bugged me too is like around that same time.
They should have just the way he was supposed to die, not with the fake out. That's what pissed me off, the fake out.
The fake out pissed me off. And then they tried to do something similar with Daryl. And then they included his voice at the end, like post-production, because they're like, oh no, we can't do this again. People were pissed at Glenn. They'll be pissed at this. Well, the fact that they were trying to do that to begin with, I was like, no, it's lazy story writing. It got to the point where I felt like at one point in the show, anybody was expendable. You never knew what was going to happen. You had people like Lori and Shane, and I can't think of the wife's name, all going on. Like, man, what's that?
Lori, then
who's the duck face? Oh, Andrea. Okay.
Oh, Andrea.
Andrea. Yeah. Okay, so Andrea. I kept thinking, yeah. So Lori was the wife, Andrea was the blonde lady. And so you had all these major characters go, and then got to the point where the only people that were dying were people we had just met. And it's like, okay.
Exactly. Or had been on the season for half a season.
Yeah. So
none of I mean, you kind of always knew that Michonne, Carol, and Daryl were never going to die. And of course, Rick, because Rick is the show.
Yeah, I feel like they need to take a chance. They need to do something interesting. Yeah. Sorry, Carl. It's your time. Carl? Get out of here. But there are so many other I just feel like it's time for the show to start.
Me too.
Finishing up. So we'll see what happens. So like we said, it is Halloween week. We're 2 days away from Halloween. I feel like a lot of shows this year have been doing like Halloween specials. Or Halloween episodes.
The comedy shows for sure.
Yeah. All my like Wednesday and Thursday night shows all did Halloween episodes. And we'll get to a few of those in a little bit when we have time. But we have two big shows we want to talk about that both premiered on Netflix the last few days. And that is season 2 of Slasher and season 2 of Stranger Things. So which one do you want to talk about first?
I mean, I would assume more people would have watched Stranger Things.
Probably.
I mean, it seems like the bigger show.
Yeah. So what's interesting about Stranger Things is it premiered, the season 1 premiered July of 2016. So a little bit over a year now. And when it came out, I had heard about it. I was thinking, it's that Winona Ryder show. I just associated it.
I remember them talking about it coming, like that it was being made, and they kept talking about Winona Ryder, and they had a good trailer that looked kind of freaky, but everybody was calling it the Winona Ryder show. Yeah,
but there wasn't also a lot of talk about it going into it.
I thought it was going to be ghosts.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be, but there wasn't. I felt like there's a little bit of hype, but as soon as that show premiered, like within the next few weeks, it was everywhere.
Everybody was talking about Barb.
Oh, Barb's my favorite. We all know this. And then when you have a huge phenomenon like that, season 2 is always scary because how are they going to go? Are they going to be able to live up to the original season? Are they going to try to do overkill? What are they going to do with season 2? And we got season 2 on Friday, October 27th. And 9 episodes. I'm 2 episodes in. I believe you finished the series, correct?
I finished it last night, yes.
And it's been okay. I feel like not much has happened in what I've seen so far. But at the same time, I don't feel like they did a Heroes, which is a good season 1. And then they just like crap in the toilet for season 2.
No. Keep watching. It is still good. I mean, the first few episodes are kind of like, where are they now? Retelling a bit of what happened, their emotional states, and all that sort of stuff. The story does start to pick up, and it gets going, and it's funny, and it's scary, and it's, a little bit, got a little teary-eyed.
Uh-oh. So we're about a year later after the events of the first season, and some of the
coming up to the year anniversary.
Coming up to your anniversary, and some of the boys are still kind of getting over what happened in season 1. Will was in the Upside Down and had a scary worm come out of his mouth. He's having visions at the beginning of season 2 where he's kind of in the Upside Down and his friends disappear. And Mike is the other one kind of recovering, where he and 11 formed a close friendship, and 11 kind of sacrificed
her, and he's still trying to get in touch with her.
So he's kind of doing the angsty preteen thing right now, which doesn't really work for that actor, but it's okay. and we see early on, obviously, that 11 is still around. She was in the Upside Down, and she came out, and she's with the sheriff right now. But nobody knows that she's there.
No.
And he's kind of, and you know what? I really like the sheriff. I was kind of iffy on him at first in season 1, but I really like that character.
Yeah, I kind of, after a few episodes last season, yeah, he won me over. I think he's a good guy at heart.
Yeah, I think it took me a while to warm up to him, but I do like him. And so you got the kids doing their kids thing. There's a new girl at school, and it's Halloween time. And then with the older kids, the high school students, Mike's sister Nancy is currently dating Steve, and Will's brother Charlie is still being a creeper. That guy's creepy. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that his?
What?
No. Will's brother's name is Charlie.
Oh,
isn't
no,
it
that's the actor. It's Jonathan. That's the actor's name.
I'm like, who's Charlie?
And then he was in the news this week because they found cocaine in his luggage. And so I keep thinking
traces of cocaine.
Traces of cocaine, sorry.
That was enough for America to keep him out of the country.
Yeah, traces of cocaine. Could have just been a powdered donut. Yeah. Who knows?
That's our cocaine.
Charlie's the actor's name. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And who knows if there's going to be more of a triangle there.
And the new girl comes to town. And of course, Lucas and Dustin are kind of trying to win her heart.
Yes. And she's got an older brother named Billy,
who's a douche.
And he seems like he could be entertaining, though. I haven't seen much of him yet.
That wig is one of the worst wigs or hairdos I've ever seen. And I lived in the 80s.
I Googled the guy just because I'm like, who is this guy? And I saw an article where everyone's like, oh, maybe it's secretly Zac Efron. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He kind of looked like Zac Efron now that you mention it.
He does look like Zac Efron. And so I looked him up. I'm like, whoa, that guy looks completely different without that rat on his head.
Oh my God, I didn't, literally till you just said it, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that's who he looks like.
Oh, I thought you would have seen that right away, because it does look like that.
I just, every time I see him, I just see that hair, and that's all I can focus on.
It's really ridiculous. And then you've got Joyce, who is Will and Jonathan's mom, played by Winona Ryder, who's dating a new guy named Bob. Sean Astin from The Goonies, or Samwise from Lord of the Rings. Goonies. or the random guy from 50 First Dates. So Sean Astin and Paul Reiser are like the two major new like adult cast members who we see, and we see
they both got really fat.
Yes, and old. But Sean Astin's always been kind of
chunky.
Yeah. He's been chunky for a while. And then Paul Reiser did. But Paul Reiser, he's having like a streaming moment because he got Stranger Things. He's in that Amazon show Red Oaks, which just had its third and final season premiere. So this guy is making a living off of like streaming shows.
It's gonna come back. Good for him, Paul Reiser.
Yeah, as long as we don't see another Mad About You, we don't need to see him.
Oh, and, like, God, don't repeat that.
Helen Hunt come back. Like, oh, Will and Grace can do it. So can Mad About You. No. So Sean Astin's character is with Joyce, and he's just kind of like jolly, just kind of a nerdy, dorky. Seems like a nice guy, which makes
he works at like Radio Shack type of place.
Which makes me kind of nervous around him because I'm like, okay, you come across as such a nice guy. Why are you with her at this time? Who are you? You must have more of a story to you. I don't know. I think there's got to be more to him.
I'm not saying anything.
And then Paul Reiser plays a doctor that Joyce takes Will to whenever he's got more visions or another episode. And he tries to come across as the nice guy. You can trust me, blah, blah, blah. But there's got to be something sinister to him, too.
But he works at the same place where Eleven was held for all those years. Yes. And Matthew Modine's character, Papa, held her and did all those experiments. So, you know, he's one of these government or whatever, whoever's controlling this big business thing. Yeah. He's working for them.
Yes. Yeah, we even see in the first episode once Joyce and Will leave, he goes, and Hopper, he's there with them too. He goes down to the basement and we see that they're still doing stuff with the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Experiments or testing or whatever they're doing. But yeah, I mean, he tries to come across as a nice guy too, but I just feel like there's got to be more to him too. But I guess I got to just keep watching, right?
Keep watching. There's only 7 more episodes.
That's true. But yeah, I think they've set, not like I said, in 2 episodes not much has happened, but I think they're setting the foundation for this story.
Well, and you failed to mention the opening scene.
Oh yeah, I don't know how that.
Which we get to see Kali. That's what they call her. So in the opening scene, you see some people running out of a building and getting into a waiting van, and they're driving away, and the police start chasing them. And these are like kind of like punk rock looking kids, and they're telling this one girl, Collie, they're like, Collie, do something, do something. And she has some sort of power where she makes the cops think a bridge is collapsing, and they stop because they don't want to get crushed by rock. And afterwards, you see the bridge is still there. So, and then you see she has the tattoo number 8 on her arm. So, you know, she's 8 to 11's 11.
Kind of like an I am number.
That did happen the first scene, right?
Yes, that was first. And I didn't even.
Okay.
I didn't even think I mentioned it because it hasn't tied into anything yet that I've seen.
Yeah.
But I assume it will tie in definitely. And of course,
it will. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to finally get somebody else, right?
Yes. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like I
mean, potentially we have at least 1 through 11 or 1 through 10 still, right?
That we haven't met. That's true. I never even thought about that. Who knows? They could
I am number 11.
They could be people we've even met already, possibly. I don't know. But I my favorite storyline is Nancy so far, because Nancy is starting to have the guilt about what happened to Barb. And
finally, somebody cares about Barb.
Finally, someone go. Well, her parents. We meet her parents with a fancy KFC dinner, and they hired an investigator to get to the bottom of Barb. They still think she's just missing. Nancy doesn't have the guts to tell her that no, she
confirm that Barb is dead.
Yeah, but I like the scene in the light.
We get a flashback. I don't know if that's happened for you yet, but you get a flashback of what happened right afterward, where the cops are telling them, you know, don't say anything because you're going to put people, well, I guess not cops, government, don't say anything if you're going to put your lives in danger, you're going to put other people's lives in danger. Don't talk to 11 if she shows up. She's very dangerous.
Is that where they were talking to Mike and 11 was right outside, and then I did see that.
Yeah. So like that sort of thing. So she's afraid, A, to get herself into trouble and her family in trouble, and then to get Barb's family in danger as well.
Yeah. And her parents seem nice. I like the scene where Nancy thought she saw Barb, and it was just some other amazingly dressed.
Literally dressed exactly like Barb.
Except a little larger. I love her. I want more of her. New Barb. I don't know what her name is. Her name is not New Barb. Did we ever see New Barb again? No.
I don't believe so.
That should be Stranger Things season 3.
Yeah.
Just all about
I said to you, I mentioned in that first episode with all the pictures of Barb that we get to see, she was in that episode more than she was the entire first season.
Still the greatest character. Yeah, I saw on her Twitter page, the actress's Twitter page, that she had to go to the set of Stranger Things for a day just to shoot all those photographs.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny, including the one in the bathroom.
Well, good for her. She got a little bit extra money.
Oh yeah. Because I believe she's got a show on NBC in mid-season.
And what, like we've said this before, like when she was nominated for the Emmy, whatever it was about her that stole the scene she was in, good for her, because she took a tiny little, nothing role.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing role, and she was probably just happy to be able to pay the rent and pay her car payments. And she's getting roles, and people love Barb. My cousin, my male cousin, dressed up as Barb for Halloween. I will show you the picture later. Amazing. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like you can't beat what this woman has done. Good for her.
Yeah, with a very simple throwaway role, which she probably was only on screen for less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was able to take this character that people could relate to, and I think we're all Barbs.
Yeah. Yeah, we all kind of feel like, a nothing.
Oh, and I'm not a big Nancy fan. Am I going to like Nancy by the end of the season?
You know what? There's only... I don't want to give away numbers. The main cast you don't hate. I'll give you that. None of the main people returning from last year, you don't hate them.
Even the kids and Dustin's scary, sexy purring?
I mean, he keeps doing the purring, but finally someone tells him to knock it off, which is good. But I mean, like, Steve's a good guy. Remember, he kind of won us over last year.
Yes, he did.
He's a good guy. Jonathan's a good guy. Nancy's fine. The mom's fine. The kids are all, themselves. Will's creepy. Like, I don't think there's anything that they could do to keep Will from being the creepiest kid alive.
Which is why I think it's perfect that they're making him the one where it's like something might be wrong with him because he is the creepiest of the kids.
Oh, he's so creepy, and that hairdo, Jesus. Sometimes I feel like he's a little girl in drag just because he's so feminine in that hairdo and just. No, that's not why he's creepy, by the way.
No, no. Really there's more. Oh. But they're definitely leading up to something going on with Will and something. Yeah, they're dropping a lot of hints and moments. So.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's that. I think it probably is the next episode where you see a big thing happening for Will.
Ooh. But yeah, it's been interesting so far. Like I said, I'm 2 episodes in. You finished it. We are already definitely for sure getting a season 3.
I saw on IMDb they have 3 and 4 listed.
Yes, I actually do think that they've. I think they may have renewed it through 4 too.
So,
but I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if.
But the final episode's not a spoiler. There's some really great moments in the final episode.
Oh, nice. Does it leave it open for an interesting place for season 3 to go?
Yeah, of course it does.
So it should be good. Yeah, I have a feeling season 4 will happen. This is the big thing that people are talking about right now.
Yeah.
And I will say, though, I never understood that Dragon's Lair video game that they played in episode 1. I remember I picked it up as a kid and tried playing it, and I just did not understand what to do. Like, they didn't tell you what to do.
I'm from the 80s. I really wasn't an arcade person. Like, we went to the arcade, and my friends would play, but I kind of just, maybe because I was broke all the time, maybe that's why I didn't play. Never really played a lot of video games in an arcade.
I've always liked arcades, and you can't really, they're not really around anymore the way they were in the 80s and the 90s. And I mainly did arcades in the early 90s. I loved when they had like the 4-person, like you'd have 4-person Simpsons, Brawler.
Yeah, I was
X-Men
not in an arcade by that time. By then I was in my 20s and I was not hanging out in an arcade.
I would probably I'd look like a creeper if I hung out.
Who's that old creeper guy in here? Like the guy with the milkshake.
Oh yeah. Weird.
Okay. Anything else left to talk?
No, that's Stranger Things. Yeah.
Okay. It's good. Watch it, people. It's only 9 episodes, and it's good.
And they go by pretty fast. I know the first episode was kind of a little shorter. It was only like 45 minutes. But when it ended, I was like, really? That's it?
I will tell you, there's one. I hate when they do these things, but they had like one huge cliffhanger. And then the next episode, like, never talked about it because it talked about a completely different person for the whole episode. You had to wait a full episode for what happened. And I literally, when that cliffhanger happened, I was like, and I just kind of went like tight for a second. And then I had to wait a whole I really just want to skip that episode so I could see what happened.
I completely off topic, but I kind of felt not that way, but with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, it ended, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens after the commercial break. And then the credits rolled. I'm like, no, I want to know what happens next. I want it now. When all her friends have the file and they come into her apartment.
Yeah. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is crazy. Watch that, people. It's been a good season so far.
It's been interesting. She's been very crazy, but it's been really good with some good songs and some good character moments. I really like the Heather stuff. I like Heather.
Yeah. I'm a student.
I'm a student. I'm a student. And her song was really good. That was funny. She does a really good job of that, like being kind of disaffected and not.
Yeah.
Okay, we went completely off topic. Our next Halloween thing we're going to talk about is season 2 of Slasher. Slasher is a show that it seemed like it was like almost 2 years ago that it premiered. It's been a while, and it was it a Canadian production or a Canadian-American co-production?
I think it was a co-production, but it was like almost all Canadian actors, and it was filmed in Canada, and I know it got a big Canadian tax break, so.
It was definitely more Canadian than American, and season 1 was on a Canadian channel up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chiller or something?
Yeah, it was Chiller here in the States. So maybe you guys have a Chiller too. And then season 2.
We had a horror movie station. I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was on that one. And then season 2 It got kind of a quiet renewal. You didn't really see a lot of news about it. And then earlier this year, I saw that they had wrapped filming on season 2 back in like April, May-ish, March, in the spring of this year. And I'm like, I still haven't heard anything about this one. Is this coming back? And all of a sudden, Netflix released what's coming out in October, and they're like, Slasher season 2, The Guilty Party. I'm like, what? Where's Chiller? So apparently, with season 2, it's now a Netflix original show, which kind of surprised me. But that's good. That means we get to watch it all.
We'll probably get another season too.
I hope so. People watch this one. And it is kind of like, it is an anthology show. If you did not watch season 1, which is also on Netflix, that's how I ended up watching it. They're 2 completely different stories, not related at all. 2 completely different casts. And
couple people popped up from season 1 though.
Was that Dean McDermott or not?
That was Dean McDermott.
Okay.
And I can't remember where we saw him. One of the people from season 1 was in it too. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I know that person. When I Googled him, I realized that's who it was.
And in season 2, Dean McDermott only had a super tiny role. But he was a larger character.
Like, not even a 5-minute scene.
It was more like a cameo than anything. The whole time, like, I didn't recognize it. And I'm like, I think that's Dean McDermott. And the fact that now I'm at the point where I can recognize Dean McDermott, I should probably question my life choice.
Well, this is what you get for watching Canadian Chopped.
And all those, like,
and of course, following Tori Spelling's Twitter and Instagram.
And all those, like, Tori Wood and Tori shows that she has. Oh, my God. I don't watch any of that. So, so it's a completely different story. And this one starts out, we see a summer camp. And we see a group of camp counselors having fun. They're drinking. They're partying. They're driving a truck in a field. And then at night, it ends with a girl's death. One of the other counselors. And
then we flash forward 5 years to the present.
It's in the winter now. And
we don't really see a lot of horror movies in the winter, which I always like.
No, it is kind of a cool atmosphere. You don't see a lot like a slasher things that take place with snow outside.
Yeah, there's only been a few, and I love them because the snow kind of does add that extra element.
Yeah, it makes it, and it kind of adds an extra survival element too. Because one thing's like, oh, we could go outside and escape this. Well, if you go outside and escape, you
freeze to death.
You freeze to death, and like they're not near anything. And so that kind of adds an extra element, which I think is kind of cool, especially to like the isolation feel of being stuck in a cabin. So these 5 friends, they meet up. Some of them, most of them, I think, have kind of drifted apart, haven't really seen each other much in the last 5 years. And they come to the camp because we find out that the land is being sold. They put the body was still there, so they're like, we're going to get the body. And we're going to get it because we don't want to be associated with this murder. They pinned it on.
Yeah, they're worried the body's going to get found, and there might be DNA or something on it that will incriminate them at some point.
Yeah, because a gentleman named Owen was framed. They framed him for the murder, and he was sent to jail. And so right now they all got off scot-free with the murder of this girl, and. But they don't want the body found. So they go up. It's wintertime. The old summer camp is now kind of a weird, like, hippie commune place with just several people kind of live in there, doing yoga stuff and worshiping crystals and whatever hippie yoga, new age people. Being vegans. Yeah, Antoine and Renee are the 2 people that are leading it.
Renee's family owned the summer camp.
I don't think I've
Yeah, Renee's family owned the summer camp. Her brother used to run it, then gave her the property, I guess, after it closed. She's a lesbian, and Antoine's gay, but somehow they're life partners.
They're sort of married-ish. Yeah, they're life partners. And in Antoine's flashback, it looked like Renee was with someone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we never hear anything about her ever again.
That wasn't really ever resolved, how they really came to be.
Yeah,
they just showed them sitting on the porch drinking and smoking a joint and being like, life's cool. We should be best friends.
And we should form a hippie, new age, crystal worshipping, common vegan thing. And so the 5 friends they're given permission to stay there just for the weekend, even though the people living there looking at them as intruders. And then, of course, murders start to happen.
Oh, and you know what? This is what I love about the slasher series. It's such an old school 80s like violent death feel. Like when you used to watch those movies in the 80s, there was, like Jason movies, there were these ridiculous murders. And like you got somebody being augured to death. You've got someone, like the snowman.
Yes.
Someone's entrails end up on a snowman. It's just some great deaths. I loved it.
Yeah, I like both seasons because both of them do feel a little bit of a throwback to me.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching those types of movies. I don't know. I guess my dad is a horrible dad, but I grew up watching those types of movies.
I had the same father who let me watch 70s horror movies. So
yeah. Yeah, and they were fun to watch. So I feel totally like this is a throwback, and we get some really good deaths, some really good murders. And it's kind of interesting to see. And as the show goes on, we learn more about the incident of the girl getting killed, and we learn more about the pasts of other people also. Glenn, that was an interesting character. Glenn. What's that?
Oh, Glenn's the one in the sauna, right? Is that Glenn? Wait.
Glenn was the guy who was in prison. Yeah, well, Glenn.
Oh, yes, Glenn. Okay, Glenn. Yeah.
The one who, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. It had definitely a lot of interesting characters, a lot of possible suspects. So the whole time you're wondering, oh, who's the true murderer behind this? I actually caught on really quickly, really fast. But I don't know. I'm always looking out for that. So there were a couple clues early on that kind of keyed me into what was going on. What did you think about the resolution?
I questioned some things, but then I questioned my questions, and
I did get to one point where I questioned my question too. I felt like they did a really good job,
They did
covering,
hiding who the killers. But what I like about this show, and they did it with the last season too, is they don't wait until the final minute to unmask the killer. They kind of let you know one episode before, maybe 2 episodes before, so you kind of.
Yes, and then
when the characters are around that person, you're like, run, get away from them.
Which I think is, they did do that season when I forgot about that, and I thought it was they did a good job with that this time too. The only thing you had earlier, we were talking, you said one of your beefs was that they had all these cool deaths, and then by the last couple episodes, the killer's just shooting them.
Yeah, they got the gun and they were just shooting people, which I guess was easy at that point in time, but it's just like, get the drill bit back and start auguring people's brains and stuff. I don't know. If I want to see people get shot, I'll just watch a gangster movie.
Yeah, I get uncomfortable watching people die by hanging. That was
that's an awful, horrible one. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was to say. Never mind. It must not have been that important.
But yeah, I only recognize one person in the cast.
Which was
Dee McDermott, which was Judith, played by Leslie.
Oh yeah, she's been in a ton of things.
She's been in a lot of things. I mainly know her from 24. She was Terry Bauer in the first season, and then they killed her off in the last episode.
Yeah. I've seen the guy who played Antoine.
Oh, really?
He looked like Canadian things here.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Ren, he was from Canadian Idol. He was my favorite Canadian Idol. Sebastian Pigott. His brother, by the way, Nathan Pigott, was really scary. No, Oliver Pigott was super, super scary. He was also on the Canadian Idol at the same time. And the girl that played the murder victim, Telvinder,
she looks really familiar to me.
She was on a Canadian kids show my daughter used to watch called Being Indie, and she was on Degrassi, and I think she's popped up in 1 or 2 American things that I've seen her in. Just as small roles.
Yeah, I kept meaning to look her up because she looked really familiar to me.
Yeah,
I wasn't quite sure.
Did a pretty good job. Her acting has come along.
Yeah, and what I think is kind of fun for those actors is even if their characters die in the first episode, there were so many flashbacks to what happened.
Yeah, because we had someone who died the very first episode, but we saw them straight through into the very last episode.
Yes.
In flashbacks. It was good. I recommend. I told a girl at work to watch it, and the next day she told me she started to watch it. She watched 2 episodes, and I'm like, good. So more people need to watch it so we get season 3.
Yes, yeah, and that was one of those that I did in 2 sittings. I did 4 and 4, and on
Yeah.
my second time, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch 1 or 2, and then I'm like, must finish the series.
Finish.
I
Yeah.
kept going, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's fun. I want another series, and hopefully with Netflix money, hopefully we'll get more.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
there's also been a big announcement by our Canadian heritage minister, that cultural minister, that she's gonna try to, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they want to get a lot more Canadian content onto Netflix. That
okay.
specifically they've said Netflix. So I guess they're gonna maybe give tax breaks to Netflix shows just to, try to encourage more things to get
And
on
to
there.
be honest, like tax breaks are a huge incentive to
Mm-hmm.
these production companies. That's why you have so many things filmed in Atlanta and Georgia in general right now.
Or
It's because
Vancouver. Yeah.
Yeah, or Vancouver, because they give like The Gifted. They filmed the pilot in Dallas, but it was too expensive to film in Dallas for the whole series, and so they're now in the Atlanta area because it's so much cheaper because of the tax breaks. And Nashville almost left Nashville because of that reason too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
They were able to work something out to keep Nashville in Nashville. But yeah, a lot of these things obviously aren't where they take place because it's so much cheaper to film in even Toronto, Vancouver, Atlanta.
Yeah, well, they filmed in a small town kind of north of here. And I mean, they must have probably got some great tax breaks up there.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I want more slasher. It's a fun show. It'd be kind of nice to make it like a Halloween tradition every year.
And well, you know what they've done well too is they haven't given it that cliche Canadian feel that you get in a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where you can like the actors completely have totally Canadian accents, or just it's so weird and
that was I feel like it could take place anywhere. It could take Canada or the States. And I felt that way with season 1 too. The whole time I thought it was supposed to take place in like the Seattle area, but I guess it took place in Canada or Maine or something. And so it really is kind of one of those things that it doesn't really feel like a Canadian show.
Yeah.
And it's good. So yeah, more slasher, please. Yay. That was a good show. With Halloween coming up, we've had a lot of Halloween specials, Halloween episodes, and just for the next few minutes, we'll quickly go through some of those, starting with last night's David S. Pumpkins Halloween animated special that aired in place of Saturday Night Live last night. What did you think of David S. Pumpkins' cartoon?
It was okay. I mean, I don't think it's going to take the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown spot for most watched Halloween special, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was okay.
It wasn't. I mean, I made it through the entire 20 minutes. I didn't turn it off, but what I liked about David S. Pumpkins is he was just this random character. Like, I don't need a whole story behind him, and I don't know. I mean, they didn't really give much of a background, and anytime they tried to, they kind of like avoided it, which I think was kind of funny. And there were some. I
kind of liked that part.
Yeah, and there were some cute moments in the special. I liked when he was with the triplets at the end, and he's like, "I'm gonna sing," and he never does. They're like, "Why aren't you singing?" That kind of humor I thought was kind of funny.
I like when he depants the kid in front of his crush. You like a girl? Yeah, it was okay. Like I said, I would not watch that again next year or the year after. That's not a tradition that's going to be in my life. But one time watch, it was fine.
Yeah, it was kind of cute. But I don't know, but I can also see them airing it at 8 o'clock at night, not necessarily like at 11.
There was nothing wrong with it that it couldn't be aired at any time, and any audience could watch that.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe what we'll see in the future. Yeah. But yeah, the one I didn't watch because I thought the whole situation was weird. Did you hear about this Michael Jackson cartoon?
No.
There's like a Michael Jackson Halloween that was on CBS this week, and I don't really know anything about it. All I know is that it looked awful, and that I think they blackmailed all their stars because I saw a commercial where they listed all the voices, and they were all like CBS stars. It was like Jim Parsons and. And I don't really know what this was about.
And it aired on TV already?
It aired on TV a couple nights ago, either Thursday or Friday night.
Oh my God, I heard nothing about this.
but the guy's been dead like almost 10 years. Like that
That's
just seemed like a weird. Of course, some of our sitcoms did a lot of Halloween stuff this year.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was, I have two favorites. My favorite may have been Superstore.
That was fantastic because they brought back Dina's sexy cop outfit.
You can't go wrong with Dina's sexy cop outfit because it's so like, it's not, when you see Dina, like you don't expect her to dress. It's just messes with my mind. It's weird.
It's the boobs.
It's the boobs. It's so distracting. It's Dina. So, I mean, it wasn't that Halloween-y, except that it took place on Halloween. They were all in costume.
Well, there's a dead body.
Well, they found a dead body of this, like, weirdo creep guy, and then they were kind of using him. I like when Glenn's like, do not come over here, and everyone's, like, going over there and look at the dead body. It is
the scariest thing. Do not come here. You will be so scared.
And what do you think of Creepy Mateo? Because Cheyenne did his makeup to make it look like the dead guy, so he could use his passport and travel. And he started
scary.
He started like sniffing women's feet, and it was
that was really scary. I don't ever want to see that thing again.
It was really disturbing. But he did a good job acting in that.
He did, yeah.
But it was creepy.
It was good.
And then you had Amy had Jonah's phone and was on like a Tinder type site and swiped right for the new girl, Kelly. And so
I hate her.
She's really kind of annoying. And I think that they are going to do something between, make a triangle between those three.
He's going to bone her at the Christmas party or something. And Amy's going to be like jealous now that she's divorced.
Yeah. But I think the end game has always been Jonah and Amy.
Yeah. By the way, what was I watching something yesterday? Oh, I started to watch As Below as Above or whatever that stupid horror movie is to fall asleep to, and Jonah's in there.
Oh, really? Oh, is that the one where it's like the French catacombs?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that one. Huh.
Me either.
But I have to say, I think Superstore's having a good season.
Yeah,
really
and
this year.
They had a strong second season last year. First season was good, and
I'm really enjoying it.
The quality's not dropping.
Yeah, which is a surprise for sitcoms. Hi, Modern Family. I'm also really enjoying American Housewife, Hard Not to Call It Housewife, this year, and they had a good Halloween episode too. My favorite storyline was with the son, who's going to go to a haunted house with some of his friends, girl he's got a crush on, but he screams like a little girl.
Really, like ah!
And I thought that was funny.
Anna Cat says she's going to desensitize him by just scaring him nonstop until he becomes unaffected by scares.
And it never works. So they end up. I like how they ended it though, where they made him the Bane costume. So he had the little thing whenever he screams, it's just like oh,
yeah,
which was pretty funny. Last year's Halloween episode had to do with the zombie walk. I kind of liked how they tied that in a little bit, where the husband was like, "I just came back from the zombie walk or zombie run," and then when he was went all bowl in a china shop, I thought it was hilarious.
That was hysterical because as soon as he walked in there, I'm like, this is not going to end good.
I'm enjoying his character a lot more than last year. And then one more before we have to go that I want to talk quickly. Do you have another one to add?
Just the Goldbergs.
Goldberg was okay. This one was pretty good too.
It was cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, they had Adam versus his girlfriend. He's a Star Wars fan. She's a Trekkie, and they're having a big fight over that. And and then Big Tasty, the older brother Barry, Big Tasty is, his girlfriend's back in town, and he of course wants to get back together with her, and with the whole long distance thing. It was just, I thought it was it was back to the kind of like the feel of the first season, and I really liked it.
It's much right. It was the 100th episode too. I feel like they've had.
Oh, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah. At the end, they had a thing. This goes to all the cast.
Oh, that's right. I did see that.
Yeah, which is crazy because I feel like it's been on longer than that at this point. It seems like.
Yeah.
I was like, only 100, but yeah, good for them.
This season has started off slow for me. I haven't really enjoed it as much, but this episode I really liked.
This episode is good, and I hope they continue. I don't know, maybe Lainey was why it was good. No.
Maybe it was Lainey. But you know what? That's what I don't know. I mean, I never had these crazy adventures like Adam and his family have, obviously for TV reasons, but it really does kind of capture that feel of the 80s. And I love when they'll show a clip at the end, and it's like literally scene for scene from one of the videos he made back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. Yeah, that's always kind of fun to see. And then I like when he brings in people that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And like different people he knew from high school, and they do like
my best friend, and he's still there, and
and they do like quick little throwaway roles in the show, like as somebody's parent, and I think that's always kind of fun too. The one Halloween special quickly that I thought was a miss this year was Speechless. I think they were trying too hard. I kind of liked the beginning, and then all of a sudden they were trying too hard to be like Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where they did 3 little separate horror type things that had nothing to do with the show. And it tried too hard, and I was not amused, and I did not like it at all. Yeah,
don't do that again.
Yeah, no, don't.
If you're listening, I'm sure you are. Don't do that again.
I'm talking to you, Mini Driver. No, the only thing that can get away with that is Simpsons with Treehouse of Horror, and even that's been weak the last 10 years. But I liked what they did with Halloween last year better, just a standard traditional Halloween. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to take risks and try something new. I did not like it. But
I just didn't think it worked for them.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Yay.
Happy Halloween.
Bring on the Thanksgiving episodes.
We'll see you next week. Yeah, that'll be coming up. We'll see you next week at our regular time, and we'll have our Monday and Wednesday show with Ryan. Hopefully Ryan shows up, and Arthur. Have a good week, guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.